I love now unlike how I loved yesterday, unlike how I will love tomorrow. I exude love and put love in everything I do. And now more than ever, I know that she is the reason I love the way I do. She has always been my regular clothes wearing hero with her white coat as her cape and her wisdom as her superpowers. She helped me see my light, value what I'm worth. So I honor her by protecting my patrimony, myself, and by keeping all the phonies at bay. Mami, my heart.
Thank you for joining us and welcome to our Mother's Day special episode.
I'm Abby.
And I'm Tori.
And today we have a guest with us. It's our guest episode. This is Leydi, I'm going to mess this up, Arboleda.
That was perfect.
Perfect. And she will be talking with us today about her book that she wrote, Golden Hour.
I'm so excited.
We're very excited to have you.
Thank you guys for having me. This is the first time. I feel so official.
Good. That was cool. Well, tell us a bit more. Well, we know you, but tell our audience about yourself, how you became a writer, and I don't know, tell us a good summary about the book.
Okay, perfect. So I'm originally from Peru, born and raised. And funny enough, my mom really encouraged my writing since very little. Like, I think the first time I wrote something, she put me into like a competition. My mom was like overture. I know, it was really sweet. Yeah, you know, my sports weren't my strong, but mom was like, the words are your gift. So I was like, okay, let me try it. And I kind of stopped for a while after that. But then through law school, I wrote a lot because writing really helps me process things and like get my emotions out. Because, you know, law school is a beast of its own. We all know that very well. So I think that's when I kind of came back to it. And I already had this written out during undergrad, but I never finished editing it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. It was a book long in the making. So I finished most of these poems are based on like before 2019, 2020. So I was just like, I want to do it now and I have to do it. And it did change a little bit because I added a whole section at the end of new poems and whatnot. But in a summary, this book pretty much explores like love and how we tend to get obsessed about like external and romantic partner love, which is normal and is beautiful. But it culminates on like, you know, the best kind of love that you can have is the one that you have for yourself and your own and like discovering more of you. So yeah.
I might be jumping the gun here, but is that why you like divided the book?
I was going to ask, this is the section, like what each section means.
Yes, so I kind of try to play it with this, the stages of the sun, right? So like you have the sunrise and then the sunset and like all of the stages are where you feel like, you know, I'm in the honeymoon phases of my like loving externally, and then it's like dark and then it's dusk and then that's kind of like the heartbreak, but also becoming acquainted with the dark because, you know, like we're still kind of animals, if I can say that, and we have nocturnal sight, and it sounds kind of weird to say it, but like in life we do that too. So I feel like dark can become scary, but then the sun will set again and then you have your golden hour.
Oh, yes. And I did notice you did the book with the poem and the name, Golden Hour. That was
Tie it all together.
Yes, I tried. Thank you.
Well, that was a great, phenomenal introduction. We're going to get into our icebreaker. So this is really, I'm just going to throw out a few poetic, like fill in the blank prompts. No overthinking. You're just going to say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Audience, you can do it with us if you want. You as well, Tori. Why not?
Yeah, I'll say I haven't heard these before.
She hasn't. No, I always come with a surprise for Tori. Okay. Writing feels like...
Me?
Writing feels like me.
Yeah. Me is a good one.
The last time I truly felt inspired was when? Don't think, just say.
I cried. It was good tears, but it's real. I'm being honest.
Sometimes the pain is a good source of...
and it's resolving, you know, like just let it out. Yeah.
What about you, Tori?
Last time I watched a show.
What show is it?
It was an anime, To Be Hero. Have you seen it?
I know, but I added to my list.
To Be Hero.
Yeah. I just watched The Heron, The Boy and the Heron.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
And it's so good. I would watch it if you want to see it. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. The poem I wish I wrote is...
There's one by Maya Angelou, but I don't know the name of the poem.
What's it about?
It's pretty much about like I'm here and like the presence of just being here is what my fight is about. It's so good, but I don't know the name.
Do you have one?
I can't. I really don't know poems. The only one that's coming to mind is Robert Frost, The Road Less Taken.
I like that title.
Yeah, so I think it's fitting.
Because that's what we're doing
Yeah.
right now. Okay. The one word I always find myself using is...
Conundrum.
Really?
I love that word. It's like such a like an English complicated word, and we don't have it in Spanish.
That is? Well, I wouldn't know. Is that true for real for you? You don't have that word in Spanish?
I can't think of anything.
Like the way that it translates is so simple, and in English it explains. I think Spanish, I'm biased because it's my first language, and I am writing. I'm trying to write more in Spanish, and I want to publish eventually some poetry in Spanish so my dad can understand it, because he doesn't. But conundrum is the one word that I would say has the same kind of like complexity that Spanish words have. Like with Spanish, you have like one word that can mean so many things.
Yeah, you
and with Spanish is like you guys are English is so like direct and cold sometimes. So like conundrum is just so colorful.
Word.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have one. Do you have one?
No.
Oh, thank God.
Wait, let me ask you one.
I was about to say thank God. I wrote
Okay, the one that. Oh, that's a good one. A book that broke me open was.
Oh God.
Ooh, a lot.
I know, so many.
That broke me open. Damn, this is hard.
Yeah,
Why
it's
did I
deep.
do that?
She's doing nothing
And
else.
you did a great job.
I have a lot of
Oh,
books,
sorry.
but one I can think of right now, I'm not sure if you read it. It's on the shelf here somewhere. Oh my God, what's it called? The Secret Life of Addie LaRue. I think that's what it's called. I have it here somewhere.
There's so many cute books in here. I love
But
it.
it's a really good book. I cried in it.
Yeah, I can't think of one. You know, when you get
We'll
put on the
resume it.
spot.
Next episode, she'll have to have an answer.
Because I don't know. I cry in moments in books. I don't necessarily... I don't know if there's one that broke me all the way.
Or that changed the way that you saw things.
Guess you know what I'm going to say?
What?
What's my favorite author and my favorite
Brandon
series?
Sanderson?
Please come on our show!
No, that is another good one too, because Kaladin's Story, which
It made me cry.
Yeah, it's
genuinely
definitely
cried.
a book about like overcoming like depression, and it's a fantasy book with swords and like monsters.
I like that
and
better,
stuff, but,
yeah.
like, his character growth,
It's just...
like that is a broken
Yeah?
person.
Broken.
He's a broken person.
And you just
We
see
welcome.
fight into somebody's
Yes.
life. I was hesitant to say it because it's like it's fantasy fiction. So
No.
No, but it's
Any book is
his
a work
story
of
is
art.
great.
Yeah.
No, that is a good book.
Thank you for backing me up. And you know what? I'm reclaiming control of that show, lady. Okay. Golden hour to me means...
Oof. That's a hard one. A lot of things. I think I'm proud of it the most. So I feel like it's like it is my first baby, but it's also like, even though it's not about my mom, because my mom always encouraged me to write, I think it's like my first ever gift back to her. And like she always joked around the fact that you have to write a book about me one day. And I will. I am working on it, but that's been a little bit hard to like try to put into words. But I would definitely say that's the emotional attachment I have to it. But then when it comes to like substance, I guess, it's more of the first step to getting to know myself in my woman version of me, right? Because like as a kid I thought I knew myself, but like
Then I guess I'll ask, this isn't on my list of questions, but just based on what you said, do you feel like this? What have you learned from yourself about yourself in this first step? So I was asking that now.
that is a good question. Yeah.
That's why I do this.
Can you tell their attorneys? We weren't prepped for this. No, I swear. People always say, do you guys post really good questions? It's like, yeah, I know. The biggest thing has been that there's always going to be an ebb and flow, and no matter how much you learn about you, there's always going to be something new to learn or unlearn. And that's the hardest part, the unlearning, for sure. Yeah.
Preach. Is there any... Actually, no, I'm not saying that. I was going to say, is there any bad habit you feel like you've had to unlearn? But I don't know if you want to share it with her.
From writing the book?
That is a bit vulnerable.
Procrastination. With this book.
Oh, I feel like a lot of us can resonate with that.
Yeah. Because I think, like, I'm telling you, I had this ready. Except for the last 2 chapters, probably. I had this ready since 2019. And I didn't publish it until 2024. You know what I mean?
At least you did it.
Yeah, true. But the thing that stopped me the most was like I want someone to I want to find someone to do the drawings, and I look for people. But then when I tried working with people for the drawings, they weren't getting like the drawing how I wanted them. So then I started doing them.
Oh yes, that's right. You drew them yourself,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
There is one on page. I'm gonna tell you what page.
I saw that you had written down as a question.
Like if she drew her own.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, for the curls?
Huh?
With the one, the curls? No.
No. So I wrote down, she's saying, Tori saw my questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them. And she saw that I was asking if she drew it. If you drew that.
Mm.
Where is it? Wait.
Actually, the one with the hands is my mom and me as a kid.
Really?
Yeah,
Where
this
is it?
one, like one of the last ones, I drew it from a picture of my childhood. This one. That's me and my mom.
Cute.
Yeah.
That's on page 79, by the way, for when you buy the book.
Yeah, we're not gonna show it. You have to.
That is so nice.
Look at my tiny
You're so
Luhan.
The one I was going to ask you about is on page 55. It's just so fluid and powerful and vulnerable. And
Thank
to
you.
me, it captured the whole book when I was reading it.
Yeah.
Because it sounded like you laid your heart out on these pages. I was like, wow, very, very vulnerable.
Yeah, I drew inspiration from a bunch of different like line tracing images for my own designs because I have creativity, but you know, there's a limit. But
Can I
but,
show this
yeah.
one to them?
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, what page did I say?
55.
This is what it looks like. You'll see my notes up top. I really did love this one. That was nice. Right.
Makes me so
If
happy.
you have any questions, feel free. You can jump
I do.
in.
I have going back to what we were talking about, where you said having to like unlearn things. I had taken a picture, like, well, tap this one, but not actually tap it. This one on page 20. For some reason, like this one to me makes me think of how people always say they don't want to end up like their parents, but then they always end up like their parents. So I wanted to know if like that's what you had thought about, or like you were saying, like unlearning like bad habits that maybe you pick up from your parents, or things that make you want to be like, oh, I don't want to be like my parents.
So I see where you're coming from, because I think that there are traits from that we try to tend to not want to replicate. This one particularly, that wasn't for me, like where it came from. It was more so like with, I guess, the partner I had at the time when I experienced this, because this was kind of like journaling day to day. So it's mix and match dates, right? But I think we used to always talk about how we were always going to be like together as long as we can help each other grow, and we were never going to be like the kind of person that is to our detriment, right? And then we literally started being like the people that will bring each other down.
Got it.
So then I was like, yeah, I mean, it's inevitable almost
Yeah.
sometimes. I think that communication is the most underrated skill, and if you don't have it, then you're gonna
Life is going to be very, very difficult for you.
complicated.
Okay, my next questions for you is, have you ever experienced writer's block?
Oh, for
And
sure.
how do you get over it? What advice? Talk to our viewers. Let them know what advice you'd give them. Your experience
Yeah.
and the advice.
I think writer's block comes from your own emotional blockage, in my experience, right? I think life is busy. Like I wish, and one day I'll be a full-time writer. But as of now,
Into existence. Yeah.
Amen.
amen. But as of now, I'm still an attorney, and like you know, I love my career, but it is complicated. We have to deal with a lot of people's problems, and I do immigration, and you know the current times that we're in are complicated, and so, I mean, I did this last year, but I also am an immigrant, so like experiencing a lot of these different like factors playing onto you, at least like how I saw it, right? It's kind of like you have to continue living and doing your like the things that you're responsible for, and if you have other people's responsibility, then inevitably you're gonna kind of like cut off your emotions for that. But once you do that, you also cut off your creativity, and so it's really hard to try to find a balance. I think what has worked for me, and this sounds so like peace and love, but
We welcome peace and love here.
we do. It's definitely my journaling. I think retaking that every night and making it into a habit, even if I only write one sentence,
You
because
journal every night?
I journal every night.
You managed to do that? Oh, that level of consistency. That
I know. Thank you. I'm going 180 days strong. I'm counting.
Oh wow.
180.
I would make it like a week. If even that.
Probably 4.
No, it's
Do what she does.
Be like her.
Be like her. Be better.
treat yourself to peace of mind. No, it actually helps. Just brain dumping. And then from like most of my pieces from here come from journaling, because I would write at night how I felt about something particularly in the day, and then I literally have like books of like my journaling,
Yeah, and you have
and I just
material
have
to
my
source.
poetry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually what I was gonna ask you as well. I was gonna ask you like, how did you source like the material to do this? Like, how did
Yeah.
you figure out what to write? But I guess you just answered it. So
It came from like finding the theme more than anything, because the poems are, the things that I write are very like random from each other. But then when you read them all, which was the hard part, because then you have to go back to read through what you wrote. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the hard part of the process. For sure. But it's worth it. I think like something that I've learned recently with journaling is that if you don't read through what you write with your journal, then you're not really learning from what you need to fix.
Yeah, because if I think about,
I did that for years though. Don't get me wrong.
Brain dump on it.
I just brain dumped for a long time.
Okay, bye.
I've had the same journal for the past 10 years. Just one.
I'll get you a new one.
Same.
Motivate you.
No, it's
Actually, no. I have journals that people have given me. I just haven't used them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's the like I have ones that are like, but I just had the same one. That's to show you
That you
how
haven't
little I
filled out,
enter. I just like it's just life has to really be me in the butt, and I just like
That's what's wrong.
Yeah.
You need to just process as you go.
we'll do better, right?
Next time, you check on them, okay? I'll check on them too, but you check on them.
Next question.
Okay. Why poetry? Like, why this sport?
That's a
like
good
this
one.
medium?
So I still write prose, right? But I mean, we're gonna get a little intimate in this part. But I started writing poetry a lot after my mom passed, and it was something that I spoke with my therapist, because it was just really hard to write like everything I felt, because I know we've talked in like personal settings, like how like grief can be like, for me, I feel it's like an ocean, and like when I first started going through it, or like admitting that I needed to go through it to like continue living and whatnot, I was really afraid of the depth of it, like of the pain and all of that. So I think putting it in short sentence structures that you can end like very quickly and move through fast was, because my poems actually now have gotten so long, because these are all really short, but now I cannot write anything shorter than 2 pages. So I'm like, I don't know, it's a good sign, but also like this is getting like too prosy kind of vibes, right? But when I first started, like my little journals were probably like this big, and they were actually old notebooks my mom had gifted me. And they were like Peru, so it like reminded me of home, and they're tiny, and I had like 5 of them, and I ran through them, and those were the ones, all of those are the ones that are here. So that's why it started. I think eventually I want to go into prose, because I miss it, but that's why at least this one was poetry.
And for an uneducated person like me, what's the difference between prose and poetry?
Yeah, no, I mean, poetry is pretty much just like the stanzas, like short, like prose is like actual books, like you like a novel. Yeah, so that's the biggest difference. Yeah.
You
That's a good
mentioned
question.
a lot like a while ago about how your mom influenced and is a part of this book, and this was a way for you to process your grief. Can you tell us, you've mentioned it a few times, so can you tell us more about her and just kind of how she inspired you to write? And tell us more about why, because you dedicated this book to her, right? So tell us more about that.
Oh, I could go on for hours, so you have
Go
to cap
for
me.
it.
But like,
The floor is yours.
Thank you. My mother, Nancy Candelaria Mocarro. She was, honestly, till this day, and I've met some incredible women, so it just goes to show what kind of a powerful, incredible woman she was. She's still the most presence-taking, light-infusing, energetic through and through being that I've like come across in my life, and I was very, very fortunate to have her as my mom. She was a doctor, a cardiologist, so she was literally like Doctora Corazon, and that's what all her patients will call her. And she was very dedicated to the patients that she had. You know, I think in the field of medicine, in my country is different, but like overall, people can get very like, okay, let's get it done, let's make money. But my mom would take a lot of time with people to make sure that they felt heard and listened and taken care of. And she would heal a lot of people just by the kind of time and dedication she would put into them. So you can imagine how she was as a mother, right? And she read a lot of books. My mom was always a very curious, nerdy, educated, funny like being, and so she was the one who instilled in me like the continuous growth and continuous education throughout her life. Like there was no time in my life, in my upbringing, and my memory of her, that she wasn't going to like a course, like a conference to do some education. She did a PhD even though she was a doctor. She did an MBA even though she was a doctor.
She was a doctor.
Overachiever runs in the blood. My sister is a doctor, so like you know what I mean. It's a lot of pressure too. Don't get me wrong, but she always encouraged us to like dream big in a city that like women are not encouraged to do that. So yeah, my mom was a trailblazer.
Do you comfortable saying where?
Yeah, Chiclayo. I'm from like a small town in Peru, in the north, and we're very patriarchal, sadly. But my household was different. My dad is very progressive. My mom was extremely progressive. I mean, sending your kids off to another country from a town that like does not want a woman leaving their home until they're married.
Oh,
you know.
wow.
Yeah, no, she got a lot of
Sounds like
backlash
an
for that.
amazing woman.
Yeah.
She was. Yeah, no.
I mean, obviously she made you. And
Yeah.
you're an amazing person.
No, my mom was the best. Incredible. Yeah. Thank you so much for giving me space to talk about her. I usually don't, so I appreciate it.
I'm glad you were comfortable sharing.
Yeah, no,
on the
no.
show and too.
I've processed. If you would have asked me this question 3 years ago, I would have broken down. But we've
The
grown.
poems helped.
Yes.
Progress.
Progress.
One on page 60. So page 60. I guess actually I kind of have more questions, but 2 questions on this one. One, is dancing something that like is like really important to you? 2, you kind of answered this one before, but like, is it like inspired by a particular like relationship person, like this particular one, or any of them? Like I know you had mentioned one before.
I think this was just like a class. This was one of the new ones.
Okay.
So there's some interjected like current day poems in between most of the old ones. But no, I kind of picked back up on like going to actual dance classes. Like I go to Zumba a lot, and then I've gone to some hip hop classes. I want to try contemporary, but that's pretty intimidating to me. But other than that, my mom was also a dancer, big dancer. My mom knew like 28 types. My country has a lot of traditional dances. Shout out to Peru. We're really cool. But with that, so I grew up dancing. My family dances a lot, and it's something that really always makes me happy. So that's not particularly tied to anyone. It's just me.
I really like this one.
Thank you.
Yeah, especially like this later half.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that leads me to my next question, which I guess I'm wondering if that's going to be the answer. What's your favorite poem out of all of them? If you had to pick
Oh.
and I'll give you time to think.
Yeah.
So I'll say what mine is, and I'm gonna read it out.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah,
So
of course.
It's on page 90, and it says.
Wait, I had that one.
You have that one too.
Yes.
This one?
I
Yeah.
have to live with oneself is one's greatest challenge, but also one's greatest joy. It's so short, but it's just so profound. And I read it, and I felt a tear in the chest. You know,
I had that one saved. I took it out.
Me too.
That's the one because I didn't tab them. But yes, that's one of the ones that I had marked.
When I see you 5 years from now, it's gonna be like the massive production, the
Oh
whole
my
building.
God,
We're gonna have like an actual studio.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
I'm so excited.
it's okay. We all have beginnings. This is my beginning too.
Yeah, it's our origin story.
Exactly.
It's gonna be so much bigger than a channel, guys. Like so much bigger than a channel. Y'all
Love
get
it.
ready for what's coming. I put this now in 10 years.
Yes.
Yes, we're saving this for. We
10
can look
years
back at
from
it.
now. Remember,
We're gonna
what
have
I
like a
said.
launch party for like our $1 million brand or something.
Yes.
We'll play it.
This moment when we told you this is bigger than what all
Period.
of us think it is.
Listen, 2035. Period.
Back to you. Or yes, the Star of our show. You were telling us what your favorite poem was.
Sorry, wait, I need to compose myself. Okay. Yes. So page 93. I also love this drawing. It's one of my favorite drawings. It was like one of the most fun ones to make. I'm gonna show them to you guys because I love this drawing. I don't know if you can see that one. So like for a long time when I was a kid, and I mean I feel like a lot of people can relate to this, I think, is like, you know, curls for some reason when you're a kid they're associated with like messiness and like not put together, and they're not also the standard of beauty that like
When you say curls, what are you referring to?
Your hair.
like your hair.
No, I'm saying it for the
Oh yeah, like your hair, like curly hair. Yes. Also, to be fair, and I love my parents, but my parents didn't have curly hair, so it's like they just like, you know, they didn't even know how to handle it. Like it took me years to figure out how to take care of my hair. Yeah, and I had to learn on my own, and that's something I don't wish on anyone. It's hard. Anyway, but the point is that I straightened my hair for years, like keratin, like since very, very young. And so like this poem to me was kind of like, it's the first time I admire my curls, and I admire them as part of my beauty, like externally but internally as well, because it's a lot of resemblance and play on like the curl texture and curl patterns and curls like definition with growth. And so that's why I think this is one of my favorite poems of this book.
Can we get a free reading?
Yeah, for sure. I was not prepared for that one.
I know. You just put her on the spot today.
So, my growth has resembled that of my curls, that like vines reaching for the sun, grow with a quiet persistence. As I watch them grow, I play around and twist them, and I question, why do we constantly seek out what we can find within? We get tangled in fear and avoid combing through because we anticipate coarseness, but rough textures lead to higher definition, and isn't that the goal? To wash away our sorrows and condition each strand of our soul in this journey inward and upward until we learn to celebrate our natural form.
Can we get a snap?
Very poetic of you.
It sounds like a metaphor for life as well when I was reading this one.
Yeah, I love that one.
It's a nice one. It's a good choice.
Another one that I really liked is 88. I thought this one was very empowering.
Thank you.
Also, definitely like made me think of like, just because it's like my favorite genre, like fantasy like
Yeah.
books. I'm like, a heroine would say this. Like the main character about to like fight somebody would like say this.
Ooh, I could see that. I have this one highlighted. So I went through and I highlighted. Did I tab this one? I didn't tab this one, but I highlighted the ones that I really, really liked.
Yeah.
I tabbed the ones that I super liked.
There's tears, guys.
Yeah, there is. So yeah, go ahead and read that one.
Me?
Yeah,
Or her?
Yeah.
Oh. Teach your demons to fear your name, to tremble at the sight of the foundation you're laying upright, for yourself of your confident light.
Oh, powerful. Just like, it's just, I loved how short and just like punchy.
I just, especially those, like that first line, teach your demons to fear your name.
Teach your demons to fear your name.
Like, that's great.
Quick therapy summarized for you in like 2 lines.
Exactly. You don't need a therapist. You just need a
Well, I do think we need therapy,
Yeah.
but like that's a different topic for
This is
another
not-
day.
It's not professional advice.
Okay. Yeah, but because I will keep going, so you gotta cut me off when you're ready. Was there a poem you were hesitant to include and why?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, which one? You gotta tell us. Do you remember the page?
I don't remember the page, but I can find it. I think I'm gonna generalize them because I don't want to like pinpoint poems because I think that's gonna make it like more like pointy as to. I do not want to draw attention to these, but then I will draw attention to those.
Say it. Rip the band-aid off.
I honestly think it's just mainly okay. Sure, fine, whatever.
Yes.
The thing is, right? Again, I'm from a very small conservative town, and growing up, like sex was such a taboo topic, and like, come on, we're old enough. Like, whatever is your choice preference in this setting, but like, it's to the point like you can talk about it, whether you've experienced it, not experienced it. Like, it doesn't really matter. It shouldn't be something that we're scared or hesitant to bring up because I've had people that have had like, this is the extreme scenario, okay, but like they've literally had diseases for like the shame that it surrounds the topic. You know what I mean?
They don't want to get help.
Yeah,
Exactly. They don't want to get tested. They don't want to do all these things just because our society is like, especially on women, is very oppressive on this topic. So I was very, very hesitant, and even though it's illustrated in an artistic, poetic setting, I was hesitant to put those poems in here, just because I was like, I don't know, maybe if my dad reads it. Thankfully, he doesn't understand it.
When we're gonna get it translated.
Which is why when he got my book, I was like, oh, please don't Google it. So I was like, okay, sure, whatever.
So the ones that were more sexual in nature were the
And
ones
there's
you
not
were
even that many. It's probably
It
like
wasn't.
1 or 2.
And it wasn't that explicit either.
No.
It was very artistically written. So I
Exactly.
think you're good.
I don't remember what page it is. I remember the drawing. Oh no, I took out the drawing.
You took it out?
Yeah.
Oh, I wish. Can we see it?
You can see it later. Not for
Not
the
them.
sorry, not for you guys, but
How many views do you have to get on this video for you to have them see it? And how many? You have to buy a book too. How many books?
oh, damn, I don't know. What do you guys think is a good like number?
I don't know.
Oh, we have like 5 views.
Yeah. Shout out.
We'll get to 100.
Thank you.
When we get to 100, we will. You guys will surpass that easily, so it's not gonna be a big
So
deal.
100.
I love that face that you have.
No, yes. Listen, 10 years, we'll come back. We'll do the reunion with this video. We're already excited.
Clip this too. Okay. in 100, what we say, 100 views?
Yeah.
Okay, 100 views, she will let us share
The drawing.
The drawing.
That's an
But we'll
interesting
do this. We're gonna start a Patreon, so we'll only put it on our Patreon.
Yeah. We actually need to do that because we keep saying that we're
I
going to do that.
We're gonna stop procrastinating. We're gonna unlearn our demons. And we're gonna stop procrastinating. We're gonna do it. So we're.
I'll remind you guys.
Yeah,
But
unless
accountability.
people will see it then.
Okay, sure.
So
I do have another question. Do you ever like to do like anything else with the poetry? Like I remember one time that you came over, you were like doing a painting, and you were like adding in lines of poetry. Do you still do like that? Like use it in other mediums, like artwork?
That was the first and so far only time that I've done that. But actually, I've done it before, but not poems. So shout out to my therapist from last year because I don't longer see her. But like I started therapy last year with an art therapist. And it really like because it fuses all of the things that I like to do and my writing and all this stuff, and there's a lot of play with colors. And like one of my paintings that it wasn't the one that I did with you, it's just like I have a lot of writings in it, and it's kind of like a journal moment. So I still like to do that a lot. I just haven't painted recently, so I have to get back to it. I know.
Would you ever combine it with something else, like for example, like music?
Yes, actually, so Yanina, right? She's my best friend. She's full on her music career, and sometimes I help her with lyrics, and sometimes like we're trying to see if I can help her like write some songs, which I'm really excited about. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. And I do like music in general too.
You need
so
to come on our podcast so we can talk about your songs.
Exactly. Oh my god, yeah, she would love to. And what's it called? I mean, this is like a projection that I don't know if I'm gonna follow through on this, so I'm gonna say it with that. But like I do want to make very spiritual, not spiritual, but like kind of healing music, but on like a house setting because I like house. So even if I don't make it
spiritual, not religious, but spiritual.
Exactly. Yeah. So like connecting with yourself and things like the writings. So I would love to put some of that in there too.
Okay.
Nice.
That's a good question.
Thanks.
So the next thing I'm gonna do, this is really something I'm gonna do, and then at the end I have 2 questions wrapped up in one for you to answer, and a task for you to do. Just
Okay.
Abigail sending homework.
Convoluted conundrums.
So because I want to make sure that we get some of your content from your book, at least in the video, I'm gonna read just not necessarily the whole poems, just some of the lines that really stuck out to me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna read the entire one for this one. It's page 39. When I was little, I used to dream that when I got older, I would devour the world. As I got older, I felt the world devouring me, ripping me into pieces one at a time.
I remember that one. That one was good.
I like the drawing on that one.
Amazing. Next clip. This is page 53, the first stanza. You cannot be caught up on someone's potential, because even if you see all of their exponentials, they themselves have yet to discover they even have these credentials. And then this one, I really did love. As you said, I loved your book, man.
Thank you.
Page 76. I live passing the pages behind me, and without skimming to those ahead, because days are to be enjoyed, the cliched present of the present. That was beautiful. So yeah, that was. I just wanted to read some of them out. There's many more in here that are amazing and even more profound. Go give her book a read, please.
Please. Thank you.
And then, as promised, the 2 questions wrapped up in one that I'm going to ask you. So I want you to give some advice to any aspiring authors that are watching. Anything you think that will be helpful for when they want to take on this path, this road.
Yeah.
Talk about the publishing process. How was it like navigating that? Was it hard? Was it easy?
Okay.
And then also tell them like any mistakes you made that if you could do it all over again, you would have done differently or done better, so they can learn as well. So I guess it's a 3-parter. But have at it.
Okay. I think for writers, especially here in Florida, right, Miami, like I've been fortunate enough to find like a club that I joined, like the Miami Poetry Club really did help me lose a little bit of the fear and reservations that you may have about putting your work out there. Because facts, there's a lot of books. There will always be books. There will always be writings. There will always be something or someone like that needs to be talked about, someone that wants to publish their work. And I feel like in the day that we live in today, comparison is the biggest thief of joy. And so you maybe just discourage yourself to do it just because it's like, what for? Like, it's something else to add. But like, trust that someone will read your work and like really find it profound, even if it's just your friends and family. Make sure you have a lot of friends and family. It helps. But either way, I think it just, messages are meant to be shared, you know, and like everyone's story, even though we have like a shared experience, like it's so different from each other, and you can save someone's life with a poem or like with a book, you know. And I think that that's the beauty of it, and then it's forever there. It will outlive you, which is, I think, is the coolest part.
It's one of like the spoken word and the written word is like some of the oldest forms of storytelling and communication. Like,
and I love that.
It's so important to every culture.
I agree.
With you, as you said.
Exactly. It's like, you know, sometimes people wonder, especially like the older generation. My dad always asks this, what's my legacy? And so like for them it can be your, like, you know, their kids and whatever, but like when you write, it's literally like your work, and hopefully, you know, stacks of it. We'll see. To come, right?
We know we're gonna have you on here again.
Yes.
You have so many books written, so many, like, full-time writer.
Yes. Period.
Attorney life behind
I
you.
can't wait for the day that the three of us sit down and it's like, yeah, I haven't done legal work in years.
Well, it might be a little different for me because I have my own law firm, and that's my baby.
True. Very different.
So I have two babies, this podcast and that firm. So
working woman over here.
Yeah.
She's doing that work.
but yeah, so don't forget about like telling them about the publishing process.
Oh, yes.
And any mistakes you made that you do differently.
So I do think that for my first experience, I enjoy working with a publisher. My publisher is super sweet. She's very friendly, very available. The biggest difference was, though, that as I said, like, very picky with my work. And so like I did a lot of the editing myself. I did the drawings. Like pretty much what she did in regards to like the substantive work was the formatting for the publishers, like for Amazon and for the ebook versions and whatnot, but not so much of like feedback on my writing. But it's also because I kind of like already had them written and I was pretty set on how I wanted them to read.
You're very particular.
Yes. With poetry, I think you get a lot more leeway with that because it's such a short format. Then it's like, I want this said in a particular way. I want the initial spelling of each sentence in a particular way. So it's kind of like, yes, ma'am, kind of thing, you know. For prose, like for a book, I would give it to my editor 100% because you always miss something. I think something that I wish I would have done differently, right, is that because I am publishing through a publishing house and we still sell on Amazon, but we also sell on like other mediums. When we sell on Amazon, it's resale. So then the prices that they resell for are so much, like, significantly higher. Like I try to buy my own book on Amazon to like give to some of my family because I can get them directly from the printer, but also not like there's a cap. So, and this is like, the price is here, right? It's $15.99. But I saw it for like $22, $23 on Amazon. I was like, I'm sorry, but where's this money at? Like, I want to see it. And like, where is it going? And all that extra is literally like profit from the resale. So I didn't like that. It was kind of slimy. I don't like that from the resellers. But there's nothing that you can do about that one. You cannot control it. So whatever. That's the only like hindsight 2020.
Why did you pick like a publishing house versus self-publish?
Because I was a little afraid of like, you know, I still have my full-time job and I was like, I was determined on publishing 2024. And I really, like, ideally I would have loved to publish on my mom's anniversary because I wanted it to be like that kind of gift. It was a little bit later, but it was still on at 27, which was the important part for me. But it is work. Like I don't discredit the work that my publisher does. I have a lot of friends in the poetry club that publish themselves and they did the work, but they also have different professions. So you have to be realistic as to like how much time you have available to do the things that you need to do. And I feel like now, again, hindsight 2020, like if I were to allot like a month and I'm not rushing to publish it, I could do it on my own. And probably the next book I publish may be self-published. Or through a publishing house that I want to start. We'll see how that goes.
Oh.
Yeah, that was always
Say it with confidence.
the publishing house that I will own.
Thank you.
And I will establish this year. I don't know this year, but we'll see. It will happen. And so then I will do that. So it's different.
I guess another thought. Sorry, guys, but I'm trying to give you value here. So, how did you find a publisher, like a publishing house? Like, kind of walk them through what that process is. Like,
Yeah.
pretend we're all dummy. I am a dummy. And we don't know what's the first thing to do, how to do it. Kind of just like break
Did you have
down.
an agent?
Yeah.
So that was also one of the like networking situations that happened, like from the different poets I've met, not just at Miami Poetry Club, but the different like events, Old Miami and stuff like that, that I've started to put myself out there more. I started telling them, you know, like I'm thinking about publishing a book, and they gave me a lot of different options. But I have a few friends that work with this publisher, and so that gave me a lot of confidence in her. And she's young. Her name's Flor. She's again very attentive, and she will give you her number. She goes above and beyond for her authors, but also it's a solo woman work, and that's a lot for the amount of authors she now has. So like you have to balance out like for yourself. Like I have another friend who she wrote a fantasy book, and she has a different publisher, but her experience was not that great with the publisher. So you have to like figure that out on your own.
So your advice is, if you have your book written, right, and you're trying to figure out where to go, the first step is to just network, and see who other people have used to try to determine who's the best publisher
Exactly.
that would work for you. Okay.
Yeah, I would think so. And if you think that you're gonna be super nitpicky like I was with like the feedback that you may get from someone else, and that's your biggest reservation, then maybe self-publishing is the best avenue for you.
Okay. Very well. We are going to wrap this up with you doing two things. You're going to read the poem that is on page 78, which I think is the one that sounded the most like you incorporated your mom. At least to me. I could be wrong. I want to clip this one at the beginning of the video.
Okay.
Was that right?
Yes. This is the drawing.
Oh, wait, I didn't even, at the time when I highlighted it, I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
And I put this one is about your mom, really shows how your mom influenced your work. So
She
I'd love you to
did.
read this one.
Can I focus?
And then at the end, you just tell everybody where they can go to support you, where they can go to find your book, and you know, come on, just buy one book. 23 on Amazon.
That should have been fixed, hopefully. So we'll see. I love now, unlike how I loved yesterday, unlike how I will love tomorrow. I exude love and put love in everything I do. And now more than ever, I know that she is the reason I love the way I do. She has always been my regular clothes wearing hero, with her white coat as her cape and her wisdom as her superpowers. She helped me see my light, value what I'm worth. So I honor her by protecting my patrimony, myself, and by keeping all the phonies at bay. Mami, my heart. Ay, mi madre. But yes, so where this book is available, it's in Barnes & Nobles and also on Amazon. And that's pretty much it.
Where can they, I think I saw an email in here. For inquiries and bulk orders, please email indieearthpublishinghouse@gmail.com, and we'll get you some sales, girl.
Please and thank you.
Some sales.
Bring them all around.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank you so
joining
much.
us.
Thank you guys. I love this. It was so fun.
It was fun.
It was less intimidating because I know you guys, because I was like, oh my god, I've never talked about my book. I've never talked about my art like
We're
this.
your good first step.
Yes.
Yeah.
For many more to come.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank
you
you
That's
guys.
It for today.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you. This was our Mother's Day special. Hope you enjoyed.
Happy Mother's Day. I hope that you guys enjoy your time with your family.
There you go. All right, peace. What did we always say at the end again?
Go
Okay.
and touch grass.
Go touch grass. Log off. Get offline. Get off YouTube now. It's time to go outside and read a book and touch some grass.
Look at the clouds passing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Write your own poetry.
Yes. Go to Miami Poetry Club or come to Pop Up Poetry. It's also a new club that is happening where you have your memorized. That's what we're doing today. We're going. I'm bringing them with me. So yes, go to those two. They're all on Instagram. Follow them.
Awesome.
Oh, and me.
Yes.
Oh yes. What?
Of course.
Ley Matutina.
I was putting all my energy outside, fighting the things that I could not control, when I should have been focusing on the real space that matters, the one within. And so we started rebuilding. And brick by brick, started tearing down the wall that I have built around my heart, like it was my very own November 9, 1989.